Are you ready? Can Crush Us. It don't really get no better than this the podcast that you're looking for if you're really heavy into wrestling. Hosted by the Mark. Energy that's so amazing. Gotta keep it entertaining. Rep the Can Crusher Nation. Yeah, you know what's going down in the ring. Lights out when you hit a ding ding. Knock 'em out like boom bada bing. Hold it down, you can crown me the king. Gotta shout out to the Miz and Duke the Dumpster. We choke slamming everybody, power driving, hit 'em with a face buster. Yeah, this the show you need and it ain't no need for waiting. Mark, hold it down for the Can Crusher Nation. All about wrestling and keep it entertaining. Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Time to break 'em, let's go. Yeah. Can Crushers. Yeah. Can Crushers. Let's go.
That's all you're getting from me. I am a tired puppy. Welcome to Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. I hope by the time we get to our prediction section here on Can Crushers, my throat's going to go. I already feel it. I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit. I'm Mark the Mark. That's Sir Michael Jenks. Jenks, I have been from Kingdom coming back this week. There's going to be a nap before the pay-per-view tonight. That's all I'm telling you.
What's happened this week? Because it feels like you're tired, you're exhausted, and your throat's going now. So what's going on? What happened this week?
Every night this week, I've had some sort of event to broadcast. That's where the throat's going to go. And yesterday, since this is Sunday, I broadcasted high school wrestling for 8 solid hours in Sharon, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yep, I left the house because media had to be there early to make sure they were checked in and stuff. So I left the house at 4 o'clock in the morning. I had to pick up my counterpart that he was doing. This was his last ride. This was his last show since we lost Barry Morgan earlier in the year. Barry Johnson's like, I'm going to do this year wrestling and then I'm tapping out. So he's heading to Florida. He's riding off into the sunset. He's done. And Barry, it was always Barry and Barry, but the Barry that passed away drove all the time. So they both lived legitimately 5 miles apart. So we had to meet up at a place, which put me backtracking to come back to head to Sharon. So, yeah, we had to be there by 7. So we were checked in and mediated and set up and everything before the wrestlers and everybody come in. And then we start broadcasting from 9 o'clock in the morning until about 6:45. And then I make that whole trip right back. I got home at 11:30 last night.
Holy God.
Wasted. No, not like drunk wasted.
Yeah.
Wasted of just... Now, broadcasting was fun. Don't get me wrong. And again, broadcasting was awesome. I did championship basketball games this week. I did semifinal games. I did some state games. Literally, I had one night at home with the family. And they've been late. It's really burning the candle at both ends. So, yeah. I'm releasing this right now, too. I know Tuesday I'll be down around by Pittsburgh. And wrestling comes out Tuesday, so that's got to download. I will not be going to work. Real work, shoot job work, Wednesday whatsoever. Have it be me playing wrestling all day or sleeping all day. That's going to be... I'm just pausing from the world Wednesday.
Yeah. Oh God, man.
But I loved it. I'm bitching because I'm tired and sore today. I think I slept with my head inside a pillowcase off of the bed or something last night. So yeah, but I'm happy. I really am happy. I love it, and it's awesome. So congratulations, a lot of district champions around our neck of the woods. So if the kids are listening, congratulations. I'm proud of you. I love calling your matches and or your basketball games. So yeah.
That's amazing. Holy God, Mark. I do not envy you. But as long as you had fun doing it, that's what counts. So you were doing work on top of this too, right? actual work.
No, yeah, my garbage job. Yes.
Yeah, normal on top of it. Too.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
And at one point, I did a podcast interview, which is going to be released this Wednesday, Friday night at like 11 o'clock at night. So I had, because I have some stuff in the hopper, but it's time sensitive. So I needed something for Wednesday, which was supposed to be recorded weeks ago. Yeah, we finally figured our shit out. And Bob Cook, the former NWA, WCW, WWF, and Florida Championship Wrestling champion of all of this, it's an interview for me, and I say it pretty much on the podcast. We talk a lot about Flair and Steamboat and, 80s, early 90s stuff. So I enjoyed it. And before I throw everything out from this podcast interview, I may be getting an amazing present from him, which I'm pumped about. Man. Yeah.
You told me a little bit about it beforehand, and I can't wait to see if you get it or not.
Yeah.
And you have to let us know for sure.
I will. We'll see how this pans out. If we can spin the wheel and make the deal and do some stuff. So, yeah. But before I get to you, Jenks, and I'm not putting you on the back burner, how about the Vet Adams interview? I want to roll back to that. I know your counterpart from the 40-year dash wrote me an awesome little message about how he loved that. The wife actually listened to it at work, and she said she was crying in the store when she was roaming around. Did you get a chance to listen to Vets?
I did. That was heart-wrenching, but inspirational too. And it was, man, that you weren't lying when you said that was probably interview of the year. Yeah. I'll call it now, because that was something else, and it made me reevaluate a lot of things. Yeah. When you look at it in the grand scheme of things. So you did not lie at all about that interview.
Yeah. And you know what? That's actually half the battle of me taking on all these extra games, because that's what I like to do. And you know what? Screw it. If I have a sore neck today, it'll be fine tomorrow. You have to live and enjoy yourself. So after having Vet's podcast in the hopper, I reached out. I said, hey, guys, if you don't want to go to Sharon, if you don't want to go to Gerard, if you don't want to go, and these are all like, one day you're in Sharon, the next day you're back in DuBois, which is close, the next day you're back to Gerard. So there's no, like, I could stay in Sharon and trickle over to Gerard the next day. No, it's just not. And they don't like making those trips. And the kids wouldn't have been covered. So I'm like, yes, just here. And that kind of pushed me to take that whole, I'm just going to take everything I can get twofold. One, for the kids to have the notoriety in me, because I love doing it. Today I'll bitch. Only to you and Can't Crush Your Nation, which is millions and millions of people listening. Yeah. But yeah, that's essentially when we were talking with Vet, and she just said, yeah, I just do what I want to do. I want to, I want to live life, because she died, essentially.
Yeah.
Why not step up? Yeah. Why not step up and just do what you want to do in life? So yeah, that meant a lot to me. So I'm sorry I cut you off.
No, you're perfectly fine. I couldn't have said it better myself. And that, yeah, I can't put any more on that, because that's exactly it. It makes you reevaluate things and live life to the fullest and take advantage of every opportunity you can get if you can make it happen. And that was, yeah, that's how poignant it is. So if you haven't listened to a Can't Crush Your Nation and podcast, you got to listen. This is the one I would say you have to listen to more than any of them. All of them would hit home and make you reevaluate some things.
Yeah. Yep. So tell me about your week. What did you get into? Because when I called you, you were like, hello, and it wasn't a boisterous hello. So I said, oh man, it doesn't sound like your life was full of rainbows and Cheerios or whatever I said.
Well, it wasn't rainbows and sunshines out my ass type thing. I got sick on Wednesday, and I'm still feeling the effects of that. I didn't tell you this beforehand, but I have a sinus thing going on, so that's kind of playing into my how wow type mentality right now. But overall, the week was good. Went down to see the girlfriend yesterday. We took a spur of the moment trip to Pymatuming Reservoir, Spillway Reservoir, which is, if you haven't heard about that in parts unknown, it's a spillway, tons of fish, nature, all of that. You basically throw food to the fishes and just watch nature at its best. And it includes fishes with herpes. I don't know if you knew that, Mark. But this blew my mind yesterday. I mentioned it on the 40-Year Dash podcast that we recorded this morning before that I recorded this morning before this. It'll be released tomorrow. But the fish have herpes down there. There's actually a sign down there. I didn't take a picture of it, but there's a sign down there that says the fish have herpes. And you can see it on a couple fish. They have scabs on their back and that. Nobody knows why, but they do. So,
are we getting some ointment in the water for them or something? Is there something for these?
I don't know what treatment's being introduced to them. There's also one orange one that I don't know if they have radioactive herpes or what's going on with that fish. But yeah, so the fish have herpes. But you can still feed them though. Let them live the most of their lives before they die of herpes. But yeah. So that was fun.
Is anybody fishing in there? This is going to be right on top of, all right, so we've had war, we've had the pandemic, we've had gas prices, and I'm not getting into this. I'm just making a joke of it. We've had all this shit go on. Now, all of a sudden, somebody's going to go fishing and scoop up a lot of these, and Fish Fry Fridays are going to turn into people are dying because herpy fish.
Yeah, herpes fish. Nobody's fishing that in Hub. It is a popular fishing spot, but yeah.
Does it say does it say like don't touch them?
Well, you can't touch them because the water's deep. Where you're standing on land, it's about a 5 to 10 foot drop.
Okay, good.
Down to the water top, so you can't touch them at all. But
there's some jagalone out there now that's
gonna do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're not condoning it.
We're not condoning it at all. Do not jump into the water. Do not do any of that. But
if you do and you get herpes, let us know.
It's not our fault, but if you do, we just need to know.
Right.
But yeah, I was feeding the fish. I actually landed a cracker on the back of a duck, and it was attacked by a seagull. That wasn't on purpose.
Did it die?
No, it didn't die. It just got really pissed off because the seagull kicked the cracker off its back. But, you know, things happened, and I cracked the seagull in the head with a cracker. So
the seagull's got that big mouth, so it could essentially scoop up a duck, don't you think? A duck's probably too heavy for it. I don't...
Their mouths aren't that big. Are you thinking of a pelican?
Yes.
Pelicans have that huge mouth.
Yeah.
No, seagulls have the tiny, they're basic
right.
birds.
I was thinking pelican. Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah.
The pelican could have definitely swallowed a duck, but
my aviator, not aviator, especially not the sunglasses, but my aviation skills need updated.
That's fine. But do you recognize them as government surveillance drones? Though,
stop.
Like Lucy does?
Stop. No, a pelican is not working for the government. No. A seagull may, but a pelican is not.
Agreed. That's fair.
Okay.
But fun at the spillway, nonetheless, with STD-ridden waters and ducks and pelicans or seagulls attacking each other. So it was a good day had by all. So overall, last week it was a good week. That's
a fantastic week. Hey, honey, I want to take you to see some STD fish. What? What are you hinting towards?
Nothing. Actually, it was her family's idea to go. Oh. So I was like, I had no idea that I was walking into STD-ridden waters at that point. So, but it was a fun time.
Yeah, great time.
It was a good time. It was a great time.
Great time had by all.
Did not catch STDs. So
good.
Do not jump into the water to catch STDs.
But if you do, let us know.
Yes, please.
All right, we'll bounce around. We'll touch on some hot topics in wrestling before we actually dive into the shows. And the hot topic right now is, yes, 2K is coming out. More and more has been released. It comes out the 11th for all you peasants to buy it Friday. But if you bought the NWO edition and everything, it comes out on Wednesday, I think. No, on Tuesday, the 8th. I don't fucking know what days or what. It's definitely Tuesday. So essentially, that's why I would be able to play it Tuesday, but I know I'm on the road. So I'm going to download it and not even look at the PlayStation, so I know I have it. And then Wednesday when I wake up, that's my day. You know, I'll release the Spotlight Wednesday. And then if I'm not on social media any otherwise, you know what I'm doing. Just leave me alone. I need a day. Jinx, when I get video games, especially wrestling video games, there's one thing I do first. I have to watch everybody's entrance before I even play a match. So I like set up multi-man tag team matches, so they have to come out, you know, individually, just so I can see entrances. I really spend time doing stupid stuff, just engulfing the game, and then I start playing. So we're talking a good 12 to 14 hours on Wednesday of maybe just doing stuff before playing this game Wednesday night.
Wow. And that was going to be my question to you. What are you looking forward to doing first when you get in there? So it sounds like you do the entrances first, obviously. So what are you looking to play? Are you looking to play one of the modes first or just get into the action once you get through all the entrances?
Well, I did see you have to do a stupid tutorial to show you how to play the game. I hope you can turn that off on up, down, left, right, whatever the hell, whatever the one it was, because they're both by Xavier Woods. Whatever one I was watching, they ran through it, and Xavier's like, really, I have to do this damn tutorial? And, like, the 2K people were there, so they're like, yeah, show everybody how to do that. So you have to do that real quick. I'll probably play a match or two before I dive into a mode, and don't say who, I don't know. But the first mode I'm going to play is definitely going to be GM mode. And remember how we talked about doing a you run a show, I run a show type of deal thing? Right. That can't happen.
Oh, it can't?
Unless we're both in my house or your house or...
Oh,
that's not co-op like that. It's co-opt as... couch co-opt. So okay. I have to coerce somebody in this house as she's listening upstairs to sit and run a brand so we can put some content on the YouTube page. So yeah, Junior will not do it. I can coerce Kelly at least to say, hey, pick your people, let's do this. Maybe we can do this for like an hour at a time and put some stuff up and see who has better matches, me or Kelly. And if she wins, the podcast, the YouTube, and everything is just, it's shutting down. That's it.
I was going to say, she's probably going to win. Just because she doesn't have that insider knowledge you do.
Well, yeah, the great insider knowledge I have.
The expertise that you have.
But, you know, I'll do a short little one on the GM like that, and then give a couple weeks before I actually dive into a GM one that I really want to do, where, like, the massive creations are out there that I can drag, you know, Thunder over, Britt over, you know, people like that, and do a creation like that.
Nice.
But the Mysterio stuff looks good. I don't know if I'm really into the card game thing, the My Faction, but I always do the create a player to see how fast I get booted out of the WWE because I suck. But yeah, all of this is engulfed in Wednesday.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah,
it sounds like a blast Wednesday when you get it on.
Yeah.
So
I'll be sending you some pics while you're at work saying, "Holy fuck, look at this!" Yeah.
I will look forward to those. I did see something earlier this morning where they gave Karrion Kross the Fallen Prey entrance, just so you know. So that should be in there. So just a heads up on that. If he does get his normal entrance, no BDSM demolition entrance on that one.
Good. I'm excited now. So, yeah.
Yep.
Other thing, let's talk about, because I know it will leak into Raw and SmackDown, essentially, but what did you think? And I know you took some of it in. I didn't take all of it in. Vince on Pat McAfee's show.
I thought it was good. I mean, it was not as scripted as I felt it was going to be at some extent. It put away 2 points. He's inducting Undertaker into the Hall of Fame, which was fantastic. And it set up the McAfee match that we knew was coming, but it also confirmed that it's not going to be Vince McMahon in it. So I was happy about that and excited about that. You know, I kind of like that look into Vince McMahon, that unscripted, that more. I'm sure he vetted the questions before Pat asked them, but I kind of like diving into his knowledge base a little bit and understanding a little bit more about McMahon. That was one of my favorite Broken Skull sessions, was him and Vince way back when. I think it was like 10 years ago or something now. 5 years, something like that. But
yeah,
I did enjoy that a little bit. What were your thoughts?
I enjoyed it, and I was happy and sad. Because I know last week we were like, is this 70-plus-year-old man going to get in the ring? I was hoping yes, but I didn't want it. So I'm glad it was confirmed, and then it was really confirmed Friday night about who it is and everything. And we'll get there. You guys know, I'm sure, if you watch SmackDown. But, yeah, I liked it the way they're going with this a little bit. I still think Vince can and will be in and around to make something happen. And those are all predictions for WrestleMania time. But like what you said, Vince was open. And I didn't think we were going to get something like that. So I enjoyed it. I didn't full-fledged watch all of it. I told you prior to this, and this was actually something I listened to. I didn't get to watch on YouTube. I watched 6 hours of wrestling in an hour and a half this morning on Sunday.
Yeah.
So the only thing I watched live this week was Dynamite. I was not anywhere Wednesday night, but the rest of the time, this is the first time I've been home at 10 o'clock in the morning since last Sunday.
Yeah. And what was hilarious is we started texting Wednesday night about the big announcement that we'll get into later from Tony Khan, and you're like, son of a bitch in basketball or something like that. And I'm like, all right, we'll move away.
Yeah.
we'll take the spoilers to another chat.
Well, when I mean I watched it live, I mean I actually watched it Wednesday. Yeah. I was at a game, but I got home enough time to watch it Wednesday night. Yeah, not watching it live, but yeah.
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 But I laughed very hard at that, because when you said that, I'm like, you were so pissed about it. And I know you like doing basketball and all that, but you were really pissed about it. And I'm like, okay, we're not doing this in this chat right now.
Yeah, because first of all, it was like blown. I didn't know if I was getting any other score updates from people, and I'm like, oh, so my phone's going off. I keep looking, and they're like, oh, here he comes. Holy fuck, did you see that? Oh, and I'm like, I'm in a basketball game.
Well, I originally did it as obscure as possible because I wasn't sure if you were watching live. Because sometimes you're asleep for work.
That hasn't happened in a while, but yeah.
Fair. But I wanted to kind of take that into account too. So I didn't know you were at a basketball game, but once you texted that, I'm like, okay, we'll take it somewhere else so we don't spill the beans on it. But yeah,
that's all right. See, you understood real quick.
I got you. I got your back, Mark.
Other than that, hot news, anything you want to bring up hot news, and then we'll just transition over to the shows?
Hot news-wise, there wasn't really much outside of, I guess there's some development with the Cody Rhodes WWE thing yesterday from what I was hearing or seeing, but nothing really too much of note, even on that front. So more discussions to come maybe for him joining WWE in that.
Yeah, I actually want to bring that up when we're talking about AEW when Tony comes out to make that announcement. The only other thing I want to bring up, actually in between basketball games and such, I did, and at work, Real work, by the way. I did have some time to watch maybe 2 or 3 of the Carmella and Corey's, and they're not half an hour. So they're only like, the longest one I think I saw was 15 minutes. It's a nice little sneak peek into their life. I do like it, and it's not all about Carmella wanting to stick her finger up Corey's ass. So it's not all about sex. It's about, them doing their, normal life. Did you get to embark in any of that on YouTube? There goes my voice, by the way.
There it is. Unfortunately, I did not, because I was doing a bunch of other things. I have time between now, after we record this, doing some edits for the other podcast, and then AEW Revolution tonight, that I was actually going to pick it up and watch and see a couple of those episodes. So they're only 15 minutes long.
Yeah, some are 9. Some of them are just
really?
really just quick little glimpses of stuff. I think there's 10 episodes released as of right now, maybe less than that, but yeah, that's actually going to be something that I power through today as well before I take my siesta. See, I have to stay up until 3 o'clock because the son has to go to work at 3 o'clock. After that, fair game until 7.
That's fair. All right. Well,
Yeah.
okay. You got your whole day planned out now.
I do. Carmella and Corey, or Corey and Carmella, I don't remember.
Carmella.
I'd have to think Carmella's first.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
Watch that. Get Ethan to work. Take a healthy 3.5 hour nap. And then watch Revolution.
Nice.
Good to go. And then, see, I get that nap, so I won't be extremely tired at midnight when it's over, because we know this is lasting long. But
oh, yeah, this is running 4 hours easily.
yeah, we digress. We'll get there.
We'll get there when we get there.
That's
Take
right.
a shot.
Take
a shot for the working man.
Yeah. All right, let's do the things we need to do to pay the bills, and then we'll come back. We'll dive into the week in wrestling, which probably the recap itself is going to be pretty short and sweet. We have some predictions from fans and other idiots from podcasts that want to step in.
Major idiots from podcasts.
Nice.
And Cody. We'll be nice to Cody.
And Cody, because Cody will be watching, I'm sure.
Yes, Cody will be definitely watching. So,
guys, head over to our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter page. It's all at CanCrusher69. You'll be able to find all our merch links there. These are going to be short and sweet, by the way, too, today. Our email is cancrusher69@gmail.com. We're on Spotify, Google, Listen, whatever the hell it's called. Yeah, you think I should remember these after 4 years, but iHeartRadio, iTunes.
Gluten-free singles.
Yeah, gluten-free singles.
Farmers only.
Definitely farmers only today. As much fucking farmland as I've seen this week. Farmers only. Yes. And we have this cool little promo code with Collar and Elbow. Collar and Elbow hats, hoodies, tees, all the cool ass shit that they have there. New merch is being released real soon. I did get that email, so make sure you check out collarandelbowwrestling.com. When you check out, use the promo code CANCRUSHERS, all one word, capital C in can, capital C in Crushers. You'll get 10%, and you'll be able to get some great swag, and they're actually bringing some of the older ones back, so like the Dusty Rhodes shirts coming back, the head shirts coming back, so yeah, that's about it. Awesome. Here comes Al. When we come back, we'll dive in to the week of wrestling, and then third segment, predictions. That's what you're all waiting for, so that's called a tease.
Wrestling, a love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand, the wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
Yes, sir,
this is B. Brian Blair asking you to turn in to the Can Crushers podcast, or you're going to get stung.
And welcome back to Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Guys, that was B. Brian Blair of the Killer Bees. He's like the president of Cauliflower Alley Club, and on Wednesday we'll have the social media coordinator of Cauliflower Alley Club coming on to the show. It is Bob Cook, and we'll find out how social media involved he is. Guys, if you don't know what the Cauliflower Alley Club is, make sure you look it up. They give back to wrestlers when there's injuries, when there's deaths. They help pay for funerals and stuff like that. We're members of the Cauliflower Alley Club. We've supported it, I think, essentially from like year 2. So it's really important. If you're a fan, this is something you should do. You know, if you always say, hey, I want to help old wrestlers, I want to kind of give back or something like that, you can do a lifetime membership. And I know, get ready, you're going to swallow and say, holy shit, but it is tax season, folks. Lifetime membership's $300, and then you're done. And then that money is displaced, you know, for this, that, or whatever. You get cool little things in the mail. You get a newsletter about luncheons that's going on. You can attend those luncheons if you'd like and make your way to wherever they are, you know, of course, for like a little extra fee or something. But you get invited into wrestling then, being part of the Cauliflower Alley Club. So that's something I will continue to push here and forever, because I do want to give back to the wrestlers. And Bob Cook and I get into it a little bit on Wednesday. But if you haven't heard anything about it prior to Wednesday, go back and listen to the B. Brian Blair interview, because he does a deep dive into it.
Nice. That'll be interesting to get into. Like $300 for a lifetime membership.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, you might have to save up. You might have to.
I agree with that, but it's an interesting. I've never heard of that before. So this has been a long time since I heard the B. Brian Blair episode, so I can't remember it per se. But $300 is not that bad.
No, I didn't remember it until Wednesday, actually. So, yeah. well, it wasn't Wednesday when we recorded. It was Friday night at 11 o'clock at night. But I digress.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, nice.
All right, Jenks, we're doing hot topics on Raw and SmackDown. We definitely don't have to do a deep dive, because these were very, very much, in my eyes, just build shows. And I don't even know if I want to say they're build shows, because I think with 4 weeks left, so much can change. They were fillers, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that was it. They're building up for certain matches to happen sooner rather than later, like the tag team one and that. But they're also progressing storylines in ways I didn't think would happen a little bit.
Oh, I want to get your take on that, but I have one bitch, and then I want you to run first.
All right. Yeah.
The Kevin Owens Rollins Alpha Academy thing, that was 33 minutes long to start the show. That was way too long. Nothing against any of them. I love them all. I love the shtick that they're doing. Dude, it's just a build up for a fucking match next week. That is way too long.
That's telling me that the match next week is going to be A, closing the show, but right. B, at least a half hour.
Yep.
Which I'm okay with the players involved. By the way, we have to go back real quick. You just said you loved Otis.
Alpha Academy, I said. I did not say Otis.
Okay. Isn't Otis part of the Alpha Academy? But yeah, it was a long open of the show, but I don't know. I enjoyed it because of the players involved, including Otis. He played this part, but I'm a Chad Gable person through and through. So I'm happy he's getting the time to shine with these significant players.
I do too. And I'm going to make the prediction because because I don't think they lose the titles Monday.
I don't.
Or tomorrow.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not thinking so either.
Yeah.
There's too many elements to play here. I still think there's that turn for RK Bro happening.
Yep.
Yeah, and I don't think I can't see Rollins and Owens taking the titles unless that's the way they're going to build up that whole Texas thing with the KO show, and they're just going to have the titles in that spotlight, which I would absolutely hate, because the tag titles need to shine at some point at WrestleMania, but they haven't shined in a long time. So I really think it's Alpha Academy.
Yeah, I would think too, because the whole KO show with Rollins there, and the Undertaker comes out and beats him up, and Stone Cold comes out and beats him up. I see that so much now, that if they're just holding the tag titles to get essentially chokeslammed or stunned, that's the spotlight that your Raw Tag Team Champions are going to have during WrestleMania. I mean, it is a huge pop. People are going to go apeshit crazy about those two getting beat up by the legends, if that's what we're thinking. But it doesn't do anything for the titles. You just made reference to it. Not that there's prestige on those titles whatsoever, but fuck, they're not even going to get a match.
No, and let's be honest here. Those two individuals themselves, I have to believe that's kind of a waste of them at WrestleMania. I mean, it's with legends, it's a great rub and all that, but you're losing Seth frickin' Rollins from wrestling in a match and Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
I could see Kevin Owens, but Seth Rollins not getting a match at all. Ugh.
Do you really see Kevin Owens not getting a match, though? Because just signing a lucrative deal that I thought he'd be in a title hunt faster already.
I thought so too. I just don't know what they're going to do with him, but like, if it's with him and Austin, I could see the interaction being the case with the lucrative deal. Okay.
Right.
I mean, Austin is Austin, so anything you do with Austin is going to be fantastic. And maybe he's good with that because he's a big Austin fan and whatnot. But it just doesn't seem I would want him in a match, but they're not building up a match for them right now.
No.
There's nothing there unless they're going to face each other.
It's an interaction is what they're building up. They're really not, yeah. I don't know. I have one more thing, and then I'll let you do your spotlights real quick. I can't stand the whip of the hair by Bianca. Not the beating on people of it. That's okay. I'm saying the production-wise, because her hair is not going to sound like Stan Hansen's bullwhip or Wahoo McDaniel's Indian strap. Her hair is not going to snap like that. And to put that production over when she was hitting Becky with it pissed me off. I love the whole storyline that I think something's going to be involved with the hair, maybe with Becky, or not a hair versus hair match or anything like that, but Bianca's got to have her hair up, or if she uses it in a match, she's disqualified or something like that. That's what I think they're leading to. Yeah. But stop putting the production that her hair is cracking like that. I don't have hair to do that, but I can't imagine me hitting you with my hair is going to make that sound.
It's making a louder noise than the kendo stick does.
Yeah.
Which it doesn't, that defies the laws of physics, I feel like, a lot. Yeah, I agree with that. They're putting too much behind it. Is it leaving the actual welts? Probably. I mean,
I don't know if it's an inch gash that Becky had on social media earlier this week either. That was.
Yeah, I don't know. That looked pretty rough. If it is, holy fuck. But I don't know. I guess I can believe it, but I've never been whipped with hair before, so I have no idea. But yeah, it seemed over the top it would make that kind of whipping noise. Because you're right. It's essentially saying they had a bull whip and they were just whipping it at people.
Yeah.
I get that.
All right, go ahead. You do. I took away your hot take, so go ahead.
No, you could. It's not much of a hot take. It was a surprise that they shifted the U.S. Championship to Finn Balor off of Damian Priest. I mean, Priest did his heel turn, so now this is happening.
It's official. Yeah,
official. So I guess are we getting another match between the two at Mania, or where does this leave Priest go? You mentioned it, I think, last week. Because we thought, at one point, we thought we were getting AJ and Damian for the U.S. title at Mania. So this was probably a couple weeks ago, but you mentioned that at some point they're going to take that title off of him and transition him into that world title picture. Do they give him a build-up for the next couple weeks to get him into that picture sooner rather than later? What do you think?
I think Damian Priest is a person taking on Brock Lesnar now. This coming. Oh well, wait, that happened yesterday, didn't it, or this past weekend?
Yeah, it ended up being Austin Theory.
Oh, okay.
At Madison Square Garden.
Okay. See, that's how much I wasn't in the know. 10 hours of junior high varsity wrestling killed that then.
Yeah, but so it's not, he's not facing Brock, but it's a unification match, I believe, at Mania now.
It is, but did you hear this? It is a unification match, but there will be 2 titles, one on each brand, still, yet. So it's a unification garbage match. Because that is, I don't know if it's leaked out or they wanted to put it out or whatever. They will still have championships on each brand that was said. So there's matches for nothing now, essentially.
The match is to get rid of the Universal title.
Is it? Then what's going to be on the SmackDown? What's going to be on SmackDown?
Well, it would be the WWE title. Because if Roman wins...
Then what's going to be on Raw?
Well, I'm hoping it's the big gold belts getting brought back, but I don't think that's the case.
No chance. No chance in hell. I would love it, but...
I know, I would love it too, and I agree with you. There's no chance in hell. But I don't know. Do they have plans to introduce another title?
I don't know.
Maybe it's going to be the USA title. USA Network title, sorry. They already have the US Championship. Maybe it's... I don't know, the globally recognized title?
It's not going to be anything that can't have a big W on it. I'll put you that.
Yeah.
Because all the 4 big titles all have a W on them.
That's true.
Both women's, the Universal, the WWE, they all have a big W on it. To bring back the big gold, you bring back the big gold, or at least the style of the big gold, and you throw a W on it. One, it's not the big gold, and 2, people are going to go fucking banana, as Pat Patterson said. That will not happen.
Yeah, you know what headache-inducing thought just entered my mind? They're going to name it the SmackDown title, SmackDown World title, and Raw World title, because that's what they named the women's ones.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yep. You're Raw champion. You're SmackDown champion.
Champion.
Yeah. No more WWE champion or Universal champion.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Red belt, baby.
Red belts. The best red belt is still the NWA TV Championship. I don't care what anybody says.
I gotta agree with you on that. Not disagreeing with that, but yeah.
Yeah.
So outside of that, we got it, baby. Edge and Styles.
Yeah, and Edge is going to be the bad guy.
I love that.
But is he going to be... He's not going to be taken as a bad guy. He's going to try to do whatever he can, schneidly or dastardly or anything to become the bad guy in this match. People are going to blow the fucking roof off. Not that there's a roof on AT&T Stadium, but they're going to blow the roof off of this place anytime he does anything bad. They love Edge.
Yeah, they do. But I'm not going to... I think you accept Edge as that.
Right, yeah.
Let's be honest. He's been on the Legends Tour the past couple years, coming back from injury, doing all that stuff. But that's the Edge we've grown up with and kind of fell in love with, was that dastardly rated R superstar. I tried to hit it, didn't get it. But yeah, I mean, agreed. He's going to do everything under the sun to be the bad guy, to be the dastardly guy for people to boo him. But that's the age we live in now with wrestling.
It is.
Even if you're a bad guy, it's cool to cheer for them than it is to boo them or anything like that, because bad guys are seen as the cool guys now.
Yeah, I agree. To go back to Finn, where's this put Finn? Who's going to be... I think he has a title defense against Priest, but I think Priest is now going to move on. I really do, after the next title defense. Who's Finn's first big opponent going to be? I mean, I love that Finn has it. Don't get me wrong. I do. It can transition into something. Finn, I think, can, in no disrespect to Priest, but I think Finn can bring a little bit more back to it. If he kind of John Cena's it a little bit, or has a longer title reign. Or do you think he is very much transition?
I got to tell him a transition, but I don't know who to transition it to at this point, because I can't identify a contender out there.
Austin Theory
right now. Well, it could be Theory. Watch it be Omos. I know you were not going to love that, but it could be Theory. I actually wouldn't mind it being Theory. I think that would be a good title for him to win, but I would want Balor to kind of rack up a few wins before it becomes Theory.
Yeah, I do too. But still, transition is 2 months. You can defend this title on every other Raw, and then he loses it at a pay-per-view. Whatever the hell.
WrestleMania Backlash.
Is it? Yeah, WrestleMania Backlash. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. To get that pop of WrestleMania still.
Yep, exactly.
Anything else you want to talk about? Dana and Reggie making out? No, I'm kidding.
Well, Tamina and Tozawa too. I mean, it's getting risque over on Raw.
Yeah. So essentially, you know that we're done with Raw. Let's transition to SmackDown, and we get another title change right off the bat. And this one I'm on the fence about. Because at one point we're like, all right, Johnny Knoxville is going to win at WrestleMania. We might get an IC tournament. We love tournaments. We want a tournament. You know, a tournament's always good to have every once in a while. We get Ricochet taking it off of Sami Zayn that quick. Why not just have Ricochet take it off of Shinsuke then?
Good question. I think the only reason it was so that they could have Knoxville cost Sami again. But I don't think they needed to do it. But
I don't either. I mean, the writing was on the wall that there was going to be a match between Sami and, Johnny at WrestleMania.
Yeah. I mean, we already knew that, and the build was already there. But maybe this was just to act as the catalyst, if you will, for it, which is fine. I mean, I'm ecstatic. Yeah, we wanted the tournament, but I'm ecstatic for Ricochet, first of all, that they put it on him. And second of all, that Johnny Knoxville Continental title at WrestleMania.
Yeah. So. Theory comes out and announces that he's taking on Pat and kind of gets in his face. I did like this. I like the build of Theory coming out and getting in Pat and having no freaking clue who he was. And he's like, I'm your opponent. I'm like, yeah. And then Pat calls Michael Cole a horrible human being because he knew, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know, but, well, on the podcast, Vince called him a horrible human being, too. Jokingly, probably, but...
And Bayley always calls him a horrible human being. So nobody likes Michael Cole.
She tweeted about that, too. I don't know if you saw that, but
I posted it, yep.
Yep, yeah. So, it was... So, oh, yeah, you did. Yeah, that's right. But, yeah, so it was perfectly timed. I mean, people know it, apparently, in WWE. Michael Cole's a horrible human being. So... Pat saying it now. I hope Pat doesn't become like this paranoid guy about it. I think that might be just like a frustration factor at that point. But I hope he doesn't just start blaming people leading up to WrestleMania.
Is this a way that Pat is going to get a break from WWE, or do we see Pat beating Austin via Vince McMahon screwing Austin over? Austin doesn't get a clean win. I'll tell you that. But I could see more of Vince and Pat, again, scheming something together against Austin. Because Vince seems like he's just almost done with Austin. Anything Austin says is stupid and ridiculous anymore.
Yeah. Could be. And maybe he's picked Pat McAfee to be his new protege, if you will. What do you think about that?
Well, I was thinking maybe if Pat would take a beat down from Austin, he gets some time off, and then we see him roll back and turn into that protege because Vince feels bad for him. Or it could just be all one motion. Vince just screws over Austin. I think those are your two. I know they're way off options, but I think those are your two options. I think Pat's getting more and more into the business than we know of right now.
I agree with that because, first of all, getting Vince McMahon to be interviewed on your podcast, that doesn't happen for anybody. And I don't think if you were anybody in WWE that had a podcast, you would not be getting the boss on it, right?
Sasha? They would love to have Sasha on it.
Well, no, I agree with that.
I know, but the real boss, yeah.
The real boss. You don't get that. You're not getting that with, like, nothing against Corey Graves after the bell or, like, the New Day podcast, even though those have seemed to be falling off a little bit. But it just seems like he's more and more involved and more in the know and doing things about it that I think you're right. I think Pat's getting more into the business and is understanding it more and could be a part of more of the creative and has more input into it.
I think so. Other than that, you had Sonya against Ronda. I like Sonya's new gear. I hope that means that we're going to get a real in-ring return from Sonya here in the near future. And we're going to get the Sonya that we all fell in love with, being the badass MMA-style beatdown wrestler, and she gets some comeuppance. But we all knew, you knew what was going to happen there. There was 7 minutes left in the show. The match was, I don't know, fucking 2 minutes long. And Charlotte comes out and gets her ass beat.
Yeah. That was it. I mean, we knew you're exactly right. It was the way they set it up. 7 minutes left. It was go home. Charlotte's going to get a one-over on Ronda. But it's not going to happen. I don't think it happens until maybe the week before WrestleMania.
I agree. Because then the last thing you see puts the doubt in your mind. So then you're like, oh man, I wonder if Ronda's really going to be able to beat Charlotte at Mania. Holy cow, she just did this. Or, she's wearing that knee brace now. Essentially, that's going to be, maybe Ronda has a lingering issue going to the match.
Yeah, I agree with that. It presents the target. It gives the target going into the match and gives Charlotte something to look at and target during the match. So it provides that story element to it.
Yeah. That's all I got from WWE.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was it. There was nothing crazy going on. Last night, I don't think you saw anything from MSG.
Nothing.
The only thing I saw was after the Lesnar Theory match, Roman came out and just destroyed Lesnar. But that's about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You think they would have put that on the cock or something, because they're promoting these Saturday Night Main Events are returning and everything, and one's actually going to be in parts unknown over Easter. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we will not be attending.
Yeah, unfortunately. But that, you would have thought, but again, goes back to that MSG production fee or whatever that is.
Yep.
If it's something that needs to be televised or something, that ups the fee 100%. So they bill it as a glorified house show, and it's a house show for everybody.
Yeah.
Big one.
All right, let's see if we can do, and I'm not going to actually time us, but let's see if we can do AEW essentially in 10 minutes, because everything leads up to where we want to get to, the predictions, so we can give a mass amount of time for the predictions. I have 2 from outside of Can Crushers. You have 2 outside of Can Crushers, and then we have our own that we want to make. So essentially, let's just run the big news on. This is going to spend more than 10 minutes, though, so scratch all that. Tony Khan comes out and says, hey, I bought ROH. Boom. We were all wondering what he was going to announce, if he going to have that streaming service with HBO Max, which I think is coming as well. Yeah. But this is where I want to reverse back to segment number 1 and the whole Cody Rhodes shit simmering down on WWE. Does Cody Rhodes get involved in ROH?
Maybe. You know, there was those issues that came up, I think late last year or whatever, that there's a divide between him and the other EVPs. So maybe this is their way of getting Cody happy and creative freedom in another company.
What do we use ROH for? Some people are saying it's going to be their NXT. It's just going to be another show. It's because, and I said this to you because I don't think you knew, it was in our little text group, that AEW didn't own the first All In.
Right.
So now they do. And they have everything streamed from yesteryear, essentially. So that now they're looking for a streaming service. Cody doesn't have to have issues with Bleacher Report here pretty soon if they go over to HBO Max. Granted, everybody has another fucking $15.99 on their TV bill, though.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Now, do they shop it to Bleacher Report? Because Bleacher Report does have that app with...
I don't think they're big enough to hold all that. I mean, that's a lot. ROH started...
2002, 3?
Yeah.
Something like that, 20 years ago.
So how much is going to be on there?
Well, I think that's part of the purchase power of ROH was now you get that backlog of Punk, Danielson, Daniels, all of these characters that you have in there. But that makes your product in your package that you're selling to streaming services that much more better. Right?
Right.
I think it just gives, let's be honest, to your point, Bleacher Report's not going to be in the running for this, to get this app. And I think could it cause a little bit of a divide? Maybe. I think it becomes more prevalent if there starts becoming HBO Max specific events or pay-per-views are streaming on HBO Max.
Right. I would imagine that's where they're going to go.
I would imagine too. So we're going to still see the Bleacher Reports, but you're right. I think they have to move. If you're going to do the streaming service, you have to move your pay-per-views from that traditional pay-per-view standpoint to an HBO Max because of the price point. Right. People don't want to pay $50 every 3 months. They don't want to pay $50 a month. That's what WWE was experiencing, and that's why they created the network, essentially, to sell it. For $10 a month, you can get a pay-per-view, the new pay-per-views every month. You can get our library so you can rewatch history and matches. And then they moved it to the Peacock. So I think that's where this is going. But I don't know how long. I feel like they have a contracted deal through Bleacher Report, so I don't know how long that will last for. Maybe it comes up this year. I don't know.
Yeah, it's talking points that we'll continue to, watch and look at. Essentially, no disrespect, AEW doesn't have a huge backlog of stuff, so they have to use ROH to get this streaming service up and going.
Yeah. So
another year, I think it would be okay if Tony pulls the trigger ahead of time. But then with AEW only doing pay-per-views for a year, do you put them on HBO Max, or do you still make people buy? And I'm all right buying the $50 one. I thought about getting rid of Peacock, but I'm like, well, no, because then there's no way of watching WWE pay-per-views because they are not on other things anymore. So right. I have to keep the Peacock. I don't know if I would buy HBO Max right now for the backlog of ROH and AEW right now. So it's almost like it's a catalyst for things to come, but it's not prevalent for wrestling fans to buy right off the bat unless you're just dying to watch old ROH stuff.
maybe they are. Maybe
Oh, there's a lot of people are. I know they are.
Yeah, but I don't know. Honestly, I made the decision before Wednesday that I would purchase HBO Max. I fully bought into it. If they were doing HBO Max, I was buying it before I knew they bought ROH.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I would agree with you on a point. $50 for the wrestling we get is a hell of a deal.
Yeah.
And it's only every 3 months. So if you think about it, it's $18 bucks, $16, $17 on average per month. You go save up. You can buy the $50 pay-per-view, right?
Right.
So I think
Math.
it makes math, #math. But I think, it's well worth the investment for a wrestling fan because you're getting that quality wrestling entertainment. But to my point earlier, I was thinking about buying it before I knew about ROH. And now that I know ROH has been bought by Tony Khan, I think the writing's on the wall. I think we see it by the end of the year. They move onto a streaming platform. And then whenever that Bleacher Report contract is up, it's going to shift to a WWE Peacock style relationship where we get those premium live events that are pay-per-views on the Max.
Yeah, and being linked to, not saying Peacock doesn't allow this, that, or the other, but being linked to HBO, it can definitely be a little grittier as well, if you know what I mean.
Well, yeah. Well, it serves the purpose of AEW, which AEW doesn't promote, but allows blood in the product to add spice to the matches to bring the story along. I mean, God, we looked at that where Punk was bleeding like a
Stuffed pig
on Wednesday. AEW lends itself to that grittier, darker content.
Yeah.
Than what WWE and Peacock are doing with the family-friendly entertainment.
Yeah, let's go high spots. Let's go instantly to Punk. I love how this was set up. I loved how this was set up. And the hug, and then the straight shot to the nuts, and then bing. But I want to bring out a point. Did you see Wardlow in the whole thing?
Didn't do a damn thing.
Nothing.
Yep.
I loved it.
Loved it too.
His little actions are speaking loudly. They really are. The amount of blood, by the way, was perfect, I think, for this. It was, you had the Brit blood with her and Thunder Rosa, and there hasn't been a major, I don't think there's been a major blood. Paige's was good a couple months ago.
Yeah.
But this was awesome. When he took the blood and wiped it across his shirt, and then Punk just having a white shirt on, and it was just decimated in blood. I think tonight's going to be crazy as Christ.
It will be. Punk had a huge knot on his head. Did you notice that?
It did. It was still on his head Friday on Rampage as well.
It was. Yeah. They're selling that shirt now, by the way. The MJF picture with the blood smeared through it. That's on sale on Pro Wrestling Tees.
How much? Now. Oh, Pro Wrestling Tees is just. I thought you meant the real one.
No, I think it's through AEW, but the link Cody sent me was just Pro Wrestling Tees, but I think it's through AEW.
I might have to buy that one.
I thought I have to look, but I feel like it was only $20.
That's not bad. I thought you meant the real shirt they were selling. I'm like, how much is that going to go for?
That would go for God. Although I don't know if I would wear somebody else's blood.
No, but it could hang in the studio.
It could hang in the studio, yeah. But yeah, they have a Mimic shirt that it's the blood smear through the picture. I think for $20. Okay. But yeah. So, but it told a beautiful story, and it still further progressed that Wardlow wants no part of this bullshit. Yeah.
I'll let you roll with Dynamite. What else do you want to talk about? I'm ready. I'm really ready for predictions. I'm excited. I'm actually waking up a little bit. So yeah.
Okay. We'll stream through. Let's talk about how about the Wardlow. Let's go right back to Wardlow here. Wardlow and MJF confrontation. Let's talk about that one a little bit in the promo, because the way he slapped Wardlow and claimed that he was beyond the streets if it wasn't for him, was a chef kiss on the actions earlier in the night by Wardlow, and this was just the top of it, and it added more fuel to the fire for Wardlow.
Yeah, I like how MJF said, "Hey, if you win it, you probably won't." Essentially, you can keep it. I don't want it anymore. And I think it's the right thing because Wardlow winning it would be amazing. I agree. But I think, no disrespect to Sammy or anybody who's had the TNT title, I think now MJF having that title is a step back for him.
Agreed.
So
he's fantastic. He's a main event player at this point.
Yeah, but I think it would be awesome transition that he does win it, and he has like two matches booked. Like he has the one with whoever the champion is booked for the next show or whatever, and somehow something gets thrown in that says, "Hey, you have to fight Wardlow down the line," and then he wins the title off of Wardlow, and just throws it out, a la Shane Douglas, and goes for the heavyweight championship the next time and hopefully wins it. I'm all on board. No disrespect to Adam Cole. I don't care if you win it or not today. I need it on MJF.
I needed it on MJF last year.
Yeah, I know, but now it's just...
No, I agree. No, I'm going off your point there. Agreed. Whoever wins this match, I think, in my personal opinion, whoever wins tonight's world title match loses it to MJF. Double or nothing.
Yep. Yeah, because there needs to be a nice little build between whoever. And double or nothing is what? June?
2 months.
What?
2 months away.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But I will say, I think everything with Wardlow is blowing up in the next week or two.
Yeah.
We'll get that blow-off match probably in April, and then the build-up to Double or Nothing.
Yep. The Young Bucks win the other Battle Royal, so
yes,
prediction was correct that they're in. A lot of predictions coming up here in the near future. Other than that, I mean, the Cole and Red Dragon against Hangman Reynolds and Johnny match. Johnny was great. But we knew. We knew where this was going. So, yeah.
Well, Paige has been getting the upper hand here recently, so they had to get Cole over at some capacity. Does that mean he wins? I don't know. We'll have to see the predictions, and tonight. But they had to get him over somehow. They had to really build up Cole as that threat, which I think a lot of us already knew he was the threat, but they had to further establish it.
Shifting to Rampage, we do have something to say about Rampage. I don't want to skim over this. Two big things happened. One was the opening match between Darby, Andrade, and Sammy for the TNT Championship. Holy shit, what a match. I love the match. Mm-hmm. The match should have been tonight, Jenks. Let's both jump on this boat because I know we are. This should have been tonight, and then the six-man match should have happened on Rampage. And I'll throw it out what I said before we started the podcast. I think the six-man match is going to be slow and lethargic tonight and not really do justice. You're going to forget about this match that just happened 2 days earlier.
Yeah, and that's so sad. This triple threat would have stole the show tonight.
And I'm not a fan of triple threats usually ever. But they were all busy the whole time. There wasn't somebody taking a nap for half an hour.
Exactly. It wasn't somebody taking a nap and then coming back in and somebody else taking a nap. They were all busy. They were all involved in the match. Everything made sense in it. The six-man tag is making me think something bigger is happening, and I'll get into that in the prediction segment because why have that match? That is not a pay-per-view caliber match outside of Sting being involved. But at that point, they've been giving us Sting on Dynamite and Rampage before. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have my thoughts on that, but we'll get into that later. But I agree. This was not booked properly. This should have been at Revolution.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm all right with Sammy getting the win. I am. We still want, I have my man crush on him. So I at least still want Andrade to sniff a title pretty damn soon.
Right. No, I agree with that. It's a question of when.
Yeah.
I think, but yeah.
It really is. We get a big return, a big surprise. We have not talked about this guy in forever. I forgot maybe a little bit. I didn't forget that he existed, but I'm like, Redbeard comes out, and he's associated with Death Triangle. To me, he doesn't fit Death Triangle whatsoever.
Yeah, but I also feel like it's almost a Trojan horse of sorts. I think we haven't mentioned him in a while, but I really think Ray's coming back. His injury wasn't as severe as before. They said it was going to be 6 weeks. It's been well over that, I believe. So I think this could be almost a Trojan horse of sorts. They bring in the big guy as the heavy hitter, but you don't seem to agree. But
no. I do. The things are rolling now that I don't know. There could be a playoff of what's coming up with Eric Redbeard.
Or are we all getting the wool pulled over our eyes and Penta is actually turning this Sunday?
That's
today.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's where I was going with the whole yeah. I Penta is not that I didn't like Penta before, but this Death Penta is just to stand around looking like a PennDOT worker with a shovel. Fucking is amazing, by the way. And you have to be in Pennsylvania to understand that joke. But yeah.
To your point, though, Abraham or Alex Abrahantes does
Abraham Lincoln,
yeah. He now fits the mold of like a priest or consultant for the House of Black, does he not?
Yes.
And Penta, we said this last week when Oscuro came out, when Penta Oscuro came out, he looked like he was a member of the House of Black.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see that happening tonight.
Ray comes back and Penta just fucking levels him with a shovel.
Yep.
There's a feud that I've been wanting that. Those two just running around the ring doing stupid... And I always bitch about aerial stuff. Some people shouldn't do aerial stuff. These two can do aerial stuff to do aerial stuff. And it'll be a fucking ballerina in the sky.
And tell a fucking story with it.
You can tell we're getting excited. Predictions are coming. Because now the F-bombs are coming. So
they're coming. They're dropping fast and furious.
Your homeboy, Huskus Lambert, came out. Cool. Scorpio Sky is going to get a shot Saturday. Whoever has the title, fine and dandy. Well, it's going to be Sammy.
Right.
There was something in there, though, that I was more excited about.
The signing.
Paige Van Zandt signing? Like she's going to be in the ring? Yes.
Yes, I like it. Who comes out and confronts her? There's no just signings that happen.
Right. Who are you thinking?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Okay.
I was just throwing it out there as an idea. Somebody's going to come out and confront her at some capacity. Do I know who? No, I have no idea.
We talked about the Punk promo a little bit. Yep. There was another big return, and I'm shocked, but maybe this is going to be leading up to a match down the road, continuing this feud. She looked like an assassin from like Assassin's Creed coming out.
She did.
I loved it.
She does.
Yeah.
I loved it, bro. Back and with menace in her eyes. She laid into Deeb with those kendo sticks. With the kendo stick. I love the fire and the passion here. This is going to be good. This is what we wanted.
This is what we wanted. It's going to happen. Keith Lee against Drake and all of that mess was god awful. I hate to say it, but it was putrid.
Yeah, I mean, it was. It just put Keith Lee. He caught a big man in the air. It showed off Keith Lee's strength heading into Sunday. That's what I think that match did.
Yeah, but it's also it's releasing to me that he's not sniffing that win whatsoever. because there's way too many people gunning after him, and he's got to feud with them first.
But agreed. There's it takes half the participants out of the match.
Yeah.
As winners. Yeah.
Which I'm all right with. I
agree.
Kingston's promo, kayfabe's dead, but we don't have to piss on the grave. I went ape shit this morning. I was fast forwarding Rampage, but then I saw Kingston come on, and I'm like, all right, it's a promo. I usually just try to read about the promos. I listened to it, and 6 o'clock this morning, I'm like, holy shit. I loved it. I that's where we need a shirt. That shirt needs to be made.
Agreed. I'll pay $20 for that shirt any day of the week.
Any day of the week. And then I actually thought they were going to give the rub, and sorry for using a wrestling word, but I thought they were going to give the win to Ethan Page on this. I really did. I didn't see either one of them winning, but Ethan's another person that can take a little bit of a beating and it won't matter. Christian can take a beating too, since he's a legend. It's not going to matter, but Christian doesn't even need to be involved into this.
Yeah, but I think it plays back into Dan Lambert's America's Top Teams not getting the opportunities that they think they deserve. And I wanted to see all ego in there, but I just couldn't see him getting past Christian.
Yeah.
You knew they were going to get Christian on the show at some point, in some capacity.
He's going to be out there with Jurassic Express.
Not if he's taken out in the ladder match.
Well, not if he's taken out in the ladder match. Touche. All right, let's stop, because we got time to go. We want to get into predictions. We have, like I said, 4 of them and then ours. So, all right, Jenks, you set? You ready? Let's take a break, and then predictions the rest of the show.
Sounds good.
This is referee Joe Mandek, and you're listening to Can Crusher Podcast, the podcast that opens the proverbial can of whoop ass.
It's prediction time, Can Crushers.
Yeah. We took a minute break, so it's prediction time. I'm opening the can of whoop ass. Have you had the Bud Light?
T-shirt.
We do need a t-shirt. Have you had the Bud Light seltzers, the hard sodas? I fucking love them. I really do.
I have not had those yet.
They're delicious. Good? Oh my god. I'm drinking the cherry cola one right now. It's pop with alcohol. That's straight up what it is.
I almost cracked a beer for this.
You should have.
You want me to go get one?
Yeah, if you want to be quick. How about that? You be quick, and I will get the caller that left us a message on the line. How about that? We'll listen to his as you go do that.
Sounds good.
Okay, here are my predictions for Revolution tomorrow night. I'm going to do the buy-in matches first. I'm going to go with House of Black over Pac, Penta, and Redbeard. I'm going with Layla Hirsch over Statlander, Hook over QT Marshall, Kingston over Jericho, Danielson over Moxley, Sting, Darby, and Sammy over Matt, Andrade, and Isaiah. MJF beats Punk in the dog collar match. Wardlow wins the Face of the Revolution ladder match. Jade Cargill retains over Ty Conti in the TBS Women's Championship match. Jurassic Express retain in the Tag Team Championship match with Red Dragon and the Young Bucks. Thunder Rosa over Britt Baker to be the new AEW Women's World Champion. And I'm going with Hangman Page retaining over Adam Cole.
That's our good friend Steve Cardali, always on our social medias. I know him personally. I see him out and about every once in a while. Jenks, did you grab your beer? Yeah, you did. I like some of his picks, and I'm not going to ruin my picks yet, but some of his are definitely some of mine, and some are going to be shocking. But what do you think of Steve's picks there?
I'm in the same boat as you. Some of his are mine. There wasn't any too big surprises there. In fact, they're mostly kind of, on the same page. I want to see I want to hear his thinking behind it, but obviously we can't. But I didn't think they were too bad.
No, I didn't either. I like. There's maybe one at the top that, and I think Steve's kind of going, just basic. This. We're not playing funny business into it, where we may throw some more funny business into it. Again, it's just only a 3-minute recording, unlike somebody that likes to record for 45 minutes, Cody Hetrick.
5 different calls, too.
Yeah. So, all right, let's switch over to, let's throw Cody under the bus right now. Let's do his, because I want to save the other jackasses until dead last.
Yes. All right, Cody. Cody, for the buy-in, Hook versus QT. Hook. Hirsch versus Statlander. He's picking Statlander in that one. House of Black versus Death Triangle, going the House of Black. Of the official main card, going Team Darby for the Darby Allin, Sting, and Sammy Guevara versus AHFO. Cody actually has a no contest for Moxley versus Danielson.
Wow.
Yeah. He thinks they're just going to wrestle to a no contest. He said it would be, because I asked him about this. I said, are you thinking they go a time limit draw? What are you thinking here? He said, no. He just thinks they're going to beat the shit out of each other throughout the entire match. And it's just going to end. They're just going to end the match somehow. Jade versus Ty Conti. He picked Jade. Cody went Eddie Kingston versus Jericho. He's going Eddie. He believes Red Dragon will win the tag titles tonight against the Young Bucks and Jurassic Express. Face of the Revolution, he's going Wardlow. He's got Thunder Rosa for the women's title match. MJF to beat Punk in the dog collar match. And he's putting his hat on Hangman Adam Page and Cowboy shit for the title match.
The Hangman thing has been pretty popular this week. I've seen several that are all with the era, and I mean all with the era, including somebody that's not a member but essentially is a member via relationship, that they stand in the ring at the end of the night, or not one of them are going to have anything at the end of the night.
Yeah.
So, all right. Some good picks. Again, we're gonna deep dive into ours a little bit more and give thoughts and whatever. But let's go to the email. This one's from Lucy. So we get a female stepping in, and she writes a little note prior to, so I figured I might as well give her props. Hey guys, love the show. I found you a few months ago. Jenks, congratulations on making it through family introductions. So
Thank you, Lucy. Appreciate that.
She is already a big fan of yours, apparently. Here's my picks for AEW, and she does put a little bit of notes here and there. Hook quickly, so she's just giving winners. Yeah. Hook quickly, Layla big match. So I don't know what that means. If she's gonna excel from this,
yeah.
No contest in House of Black match. So she went with a no contest. Yeah.
Okay.
Jade. Team Sting, Jurassic retains, Danielson, Jericho, because he is, and is capitalized, AEW, which is also capitalized. Orange Cassidy to win the face.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
The Doctor retains MJF and Adam Cole.
Adam Cole, baby.
Baby.
So
she's not one that was on the possibly Red Dragon to win, but I did see a couple of those here and there. But yeah, the Orange Cassidy one surprises me, Lucy. I will throw that out there right now. I think he's in there to take some stupid ass bumps.
Yeah, I agreed. But I kind of could see. I'm making an assumption on her logic here. If you think about it, Hobbs starts, Keith Lee, they kind of all cancel each other out. Christian's just there for the legend factor. Maybe she's thinking something happens with Wardlow here to get Orange Cassidy up there. But, yeah, I just don't see OC winning. But maybe that's the logic Lucy was applying there when doing it.
And the other Layla big match, behind it. What does she know that we don't? Or is she homegirls with Layla? Is this Layla putting in her own predictions using a false name? I don't know.
It could be. That one, big match. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is what Lucy's thinking as the catalyst to push Layla to the next level. Is the Statlander match? Maybe she does quick work.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, she already says hook quickly, and I don't think anybody disagrees with that.
No. Well, we'll get there.
Well, we're getting there right now because it's we're saving ours to the end, and we'll go match by match, Jenks. We'll talk about the match, what we think. We'll both give our predictions, move on like we normally do. All right, what does douchebag Dan have to say?
Mark, I hope you're ready for this.
No.
Drink up. The buy-in, Hook versus QT Marshall. Dan is picking QT Marshall. Hook loses here because Hook just reminds him of the movie Hook. He envisioned Hook as missing limbs, having a wig and a greasy mustache. Again, Dan doesn't watch AEW at all.
Okay.
So he's envisioning him as Captain Hook. I then informed Dan that he was Taz's son. He then realized that he's on a smaller scale and does not believe that it's his son and believes there's a Dominic Mysterio storyline here where we find out there's another person that's the father. And that goes into a whole other thing with a WWE AEW crossover. So in the end, QT Marshall wins.
Okay. All right. That's one.
Layla Hirsch versus Statlander. He picked Layla Hirsch because it sounds like Hershey Bar and they're delicious. Also, he thinks Statlander is like Zoolander. Shady as shit and dumb as Zoolander. So
second Zoolander reference in 2 weeks.
No. Next up, House of Black versus Death Triangle. He goes House of Black. He likes the name more. He did like Death Triangle, but he's going House of Black after hearing the participants of the House of Black and Death Triangle. He thinks Malachi Black is the key to this whole. So this was actually a normal one.
Okay.
He knows some of the participants. He was siding with the House of Black.
Okay.
All right. Main card. AHFO versus Darby, Sting, and Sammy. He actually called it the AHWZ AOW W2. They would win. He believes Sting is 100 and is primed in the weak link of this whole thing. He gets pinned in the weak link. So
I don't blame him for that one, but all right.
I don't blame him either. Danielson versus Moxley. He's going Moxley. He has his thoughts that this is one of the first pay-per-views back, one of his beginning matches back from rehab. He doesn't think that Moxley would actually lose this one to Danielson. So Cargill take Conti. He goes Jade because she's undefeated, and he's thinking that she is a big fish in this match. Big muscular person. And then he goes fins up Cargill. So
okay.
I knew that would get that sigh out of you.
Yeah.
Jericho Kingston almost immediately went Jericho. Late champion, and he's in better shape than he was a few months ago. So he's all about Jericho.
But that's all right. That's an all right pick. So
yeah, that one makes sense. Tag title match: Jurassic Express, Young Bucks, Red Dragon. He's going Jurassic Express. When it comes down to dragons versus dinosaurs versus deer, the deer have a 0% chance of winning. Dragons spit fire. Dinosaurs are savvy, despite the meteor attack. But he thinks because Jurassic Park keeps coming back, there's passion in their heart and fire up their ass. Jurassic Express will win this match.
Okay. Again, the horrible references and the thought behind this do make sense. Okay.
They do make he has horrible logic, but it makes sense, which is even worse, I guess, in the long run of things. But Face of the Revolution, he goes Keith Lee. Actually just praises Keith Lee. Phenomenal athlete. Believes he's going to the top, and he does believe WWE missed the mark on Keith Lee, like all of us have believed that. So he's going Keith Lee in that match.
Respect there. Okay.
Yep. You're going to lose it right now. Women's title match. Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker. He's going Thunder Rosa because it sounds like Ponderosa, and she's going to make an all-you-can-eat buffet on the dentist. Dentists don't work well in professional wrestling. Example, Isaac Yankem, and believes that Britt Baker, it would be like watching a root canal if she won. So there you go.
Okay.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
All right.
Ponderosa. Jesus.
Ponderosa.
It's been closed for fucking 15 years, but all right.
Exactly. Punk versus MJF. He went Punk. It was a tough choice. He did say MJF sounds like a dog, but Punk is a wily vet, so he'd win.
There's no wrong pick in that match. Either can be, yeah, all right.
Yeah. We have a Moochie guarantee on the AEW title match. He's going Adam Cole. He's too good to be held down. Cowboy shit is quotations cowboy shit. This is the Moochie guarantee. Adam Cole, baby, is going to win the title.
So if he's ranking his bets, number one overall that he's putting his whole house and family on, it is that Adam Cole is winning tonight.
Exactly.
All right. That's some of the Can Crusher Nation's guesses, predictions, whatever. Let's dive into ours, Jenks. And again, we'll start with the buy-in. You have the card list in front of you, so I'll let you kind of be the MC, and then let's just go back and forth.
Yeah, let's do it. This one I think is pretty straightforward. Hook versus QT Marshall. I'm going Hook.
Yeah. Again, I'm going to agree with Lucy quickly.
Very quickly. Lucy hit it on the head there.
Three matches on the buy-in. One is not going to be a match, and it's this one.
Exactly. Hirsch versus Statlander. So Layla Hirsch versus Chris Statlander. Bark, what do you think?
I'm actually going to agree. I think this is Layla's time. I think it's she gives Jade a hell of a match here in the near future. Again, losing to Jade, because I don't think Jade's losing anytime soon. But this is going to build her up for somewhat of a title shot. I don't know. I think Statlander has lost some of her flow, some of something. We thought her and Britt were going to be a great match. It was a good match. It wasn't anything, whatever. But I think they're building Layla to be a submission specialist, So yeah. I think Layla does get the win, and I think she gets a TBS title shot at some point over this. That's why.
I'm going to agree. Layla, it just seems like the writing's on the wall that they're going to push Layla here. Again, submission specialist. I think Chris Statlander's a good name to give her, to put a feather in her cap. I beat Chris Statlander, who recently, although it was 6 months ago, challenged for the AEW Women's title on a pay-per-view. This is a great stepping stone for Layla to be a more credible threat. She probably won't beat Jade if that's the direction they're going here, but it's at least a credible threat to build up that match.
Yep. Perfect.
Last one, House of Black versus Death Triangle. We were talking about this earlier. We hinted at it earlier. After that, I changed my mind. I was thinking Death Triangle would get a win back here, or would get the win, but now I'm going House of Black because I feel like Penta is turning in this match after our conversation earlier.
See, I'm on board with that 100%. But I think because Penta is turning, he waylays somebody in the head, or I expect this pay-per-view in general, and I know this is on the buy-in, but I expect this pay-per-view in general to be full of blood and guts.
Yeah.
And I hope it's not over, because you have to build this. I think there's one match that needs to be bloodier than the other, but I think there's a match that they do need the bleed, as well because of what was said. And I think you guys should understand the references I'm making. But I think Death Triangle again gets the win, but it's only because Penta waylays somebody and there's a disqualification or something like that, and then transitions over to the House of Black.
Yeah. I could see it being Pac because I think that would be the one that makes sense. Eric Redbeard, he just joined Friday and maybe loosely affiliated, so it would have to be on Pac to have that resounding impact, I think, going forward.
Right. And then that, in what you brought up, Ray runs out of the back to kind of save them again. Yeah.
Exactly.
We're on the same page. It's just, it's the quips and the quirms of, and those aren't real words, people, but it's just the way that we're getting to Penta's turning and the match itself, the winner or loser of this match tonight doesn't matter because this is only the legit start of what's going to come forward.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right. Main card. You ready?
Yep.
All right. Let's start from the bottom up. They listed differently, but I'm going to go from bottom up. AHFO, Andrade, Matt Hardy, Isaiah Cassidy, Darby, Sting, Sammy, Mark, what you got?
In all hopes, I have Team Andrade winning this and doing, this is horrible, something to Sting that he's off of TV for a while, which then breaks, because Sammy and Darby aren't together. They're just joined today. So they can break away and have another match against each other, have something or other. I want Darby away from Sting now. I really do. And for Moochie to say he's 100 years old and he's taking the pin, Sting can take the pin and it doesn't matter. In 3 months when he comes back, it's Sting! Can be said again. Yeah. Everybody's going to be excited for him. Cool, fine and dandy. I need that break between Darby and Sting. So I really hope, I'm not saying he gets injured, but he gets worked over enough that he's off and Darby can be on his own. So that's why I'm going with Team Andrade.
That's fair. I'm going to go Darby, Sting, and Sammy, though, because I feel like this is where Andrade takes complete control of the Hardy family office. I think they kick Matt Hardy out. I think Matt Hardy's taking the pin here, and this is where Andrade swoops in. They kick Matt Hardy out. He takes over that entire family. Then we get the build-up for whenever, if and when Jeff Hardy comes back. I think that's when we get the build-up there. And it's going to be taking on the Andrade faction at some capacity. So I think Darby, Sting, and Sammy win this match.
Well, that was going to be my question, actually, because Jeff Hardy, and people have already said, he's Team Elite. He has acknowledged he's going to AEW. Nice little spin you put on it. So with them beating the piss out of Hardy, Matt, is this where Jeff shows up tonight?
Maybe so. In my mind, I kind of thought they would put it off for TV, but again, AEW has that tendency, and we've seen this in previous pay-per-views. They do the big returns at the pay-per-view. This would be a big return to do at the pay-per-view, or a big debut to do at the pay-per-view, I should say. Excuse my language. But maybe you're right. Maybe he does come out to make the save tonight to save Matt Hardy.
I've just changed my own mind.
No.
I've just changed my own mind. I'm sorry. You changed it. I talked myself into this after asking you the question, and then your scenario. So they're not locked in yet. So I'm changing my mind. Team Sting is going to win. Son of a bitch. Because I'm reading. Hardy's ready. Hardy's ready, and if you have people pummeling him, his brother is going to come out and save him.
Yeah. The writing's on the wall.
Shit. All right. Go ahead.
You're welcome. All right. Next up, Moxley and Danielson.
You go first.
All right, I'll go first. This one was tough. But I'm going to go Moxley barely. I think we do get this faction at some point. No, you know what? I'm changing it. Danielson. Because as soon as I said that, I'm changing it. It's because if Danielson loses, he's not going to want to do it anymore. Right? That's the mentality I'm getting from him.
Exactly.
So I think Danielson wins. I think we get maybe another week or two of will they, won't they, and then we get this faction. So I'm going Danielson on this one.
That was my thoughts. Everybody was saying this was a hard match to pick. I didn't. I think because if Danielson wins, that shows that there's, I think there's that strength. And I don't think it's going to be a 2-minute match or anything that's like crazy like that. But I think he has to beat Moxley of some sort. And I think it's going to be a quick roll-up or something that's going to catch Moxley off guard. It's not going to be... I really don't think you're going to see Mox tap or anything like that to quit. It's going to be something that's going to be randomly off guard to catch Mox. And he's like, you understand. You did some tape study or something. But my big question in this match is... You have to bleed with me before we can tag together. That whole scenario.
Yeah.
To me, then, there's got to be blood in this match. But it can't foreshadow what's coming. Because there's one match that after Wednesday night, if there's not blood from it now, I think it weakens it. And everybody knows where I'm going. But I think in this Mox Danielson match, there's got to be some type of blood. So you better not book the next match to have blood in it as well. Because we can't have a huge deathmatch blood thing going on tonight where everybody's trying to outbleed each other.
Right. Well, nobody's bleeding out that later match that you're thinking of. I you know what I mean? There's going to be buckets in that match. But I agree with that. I guess how do they get to that? And we're going to see it tonight, obviously. But how do you get to that point where they're doing that? Is it basic wrestling moves? Are we throwing people in the poles? What exactly are we going to?
A post, a pillar, exactly. A chair shot when the ref's going to be knocked down at some point in this match, I think. A chair shot or something like that. Yeah. Or maybe just a hard way, just fucking bare knuckle to the head.
Well, I was thinking of that, or it's some sort of wrestling move. Maybe Danielson does a flying headbutt, both bleed. Not saying they make contact and bleed because of the headbutt, but because somehow that works. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a wrestling move that gets us there, because that's the crux of the story, right? They're trying to build a faction of professional wrestlers to take over AEW. Yep. So why wouldn't you bleed by a professional wrestling move? Exactly. Bleed together in a professional wrestling move. One move defines it. To your point, it doesn't need to be buckets, doesn't need to be a lot. It just has to be enough to say we're bleeding together now and let's further this story.
I like the flying headbutt thing. I like that.
I would love to see how they would pull that off.
Tony Khan better listen real fucking quick.
He's hopefully going to change it by the time it rolls on tonight. Right. All right. Jade Cargill, Tay Conti, TBS title match. I feel like we're going to say the same thing, but go ahead, Mark.
Jade, done.
Exactly. I like Ty.
Filler match.
It's a filler match, not winning it. So let's move on. Jericho Kingston. I'll go first. I flip-flopped on this a little bit. I'm not saying it was hard to pick, but there was a couple flip-flops over the past couple weeks. I'm going to stick with Kingston because I think Eddie needs a big win here. And I think Jericho's in the position to allow that to happen.
Well, he said he's the Undertaker.
Exactly.
I'm in the same boat with you. Kingston does need something. I think this is a nice little stroke to his ego. He can use this in promos down the line, stuff like that, just to kind of continue to stroke his ego. I think it's going to be a great match, though. I don't think it's going to be a lot of... Jericho's going to try for some wrestling moves to start, but I think this is going to be more of a fight.
Exactly. Well, it's going to be Punk and Kingston.
Yeah.
2 months ago. Differently, but it's going to be Punk and Kingston. This is going to be a brawl.
Yeah.
And Jericho's going to realize that very quickly in it.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
And I think you see a character change in Jericho tonight, by the way.
I'll buy that.
Yeah. You're not going to get the Jericho that we know. You're not going to get Y2J. You're going to get, I think, New Japan Jericho a little bit.
Does he go full Painmaker?
I don't know a full Painmaker. I don't know a full.
Okay.
But
Just
you're on the
something
same line, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. All right. Tag titles. Jurassic Express, the Dinosaurs versus Red Dragon, the Dragons versus the Young Bucks, the Deer, according to Sir Mochi. You're up. What do you got?
To me, this is... I've written so many stories for this match in my head. Even in the last hour and 45 minutes. This is probably one for me to go, I don't know. Because would I like to see Adam Cole and all of them all at the end of the show holding their titles up, including Britt? I would. Do I think that's going to be it? I don't. Do I think the Bucks need it right now? No. Do I think I need an actual one-off match between Red Dragon and the Bucks prior to either one of them winning the championships? I do. Am I happy with Jurassic Express's title reign? I'm not. Do they keep it much longer if they do win? No. Who defeats them? Bailey does.
Bailey does.
Neither one of these teams are actually going to be the ones that beat Jurassic Express. But in my heart of hearts, we need more of Red Dragon Bucks non-title before we get that. So I'm going to say... did I say Jurassic Express and Bucks we need more of before we get that? So I'm going to say Jurassic wins. Just because. I don't know. This is the hardest one for me.
I agree with that. I'm actually, this one kind of is pretty easy to me because it's the way I'm thinking about it. I'm going Jurassic Express 2 because I think Red Dragon and the Bucks cost each other the match and it plays into our main event later tonight.
Yeah, essentially then, essentially them building up that they have to have another match.
Right.
Yes.
It's building up Red Dragon and Young Bucks. I think it plays into our world title match later.
Oh, it does. Oh, it does.
Yeah. For sure. So I think Jurassic Express does win this because you have convinced me fully Santana and Ortiz at some point is getting these tag titles, and I think it's off of Jurassic Express.
Yeah. And I don't. So, and now the downfall is about Santana and Ortiz getting that title shot. They are not keeping them long, though. That's what pisses me off. They are not going to be long tag team champions.
No, they're not. It doesn't look like that. And we didn't mention this. It looks like they're back aligned with Jericho again.
Yeah, well, they shook hands.
Kind of.
I shake hands with people at work that I don't like, too. So.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, fair. You know what? Good point, Mark. I like it. All right. Next up, Face of the Revolution ladder match. We know who the participants are. Is it my turn? It's my turn, right?
We got the same pick.
We do. It's Wardlow. There's no way this is not. Wardlow's getting into this title picture and they're progressing the storyline. It's got to be Wardlow.
Yeah. I want you to tell me a reason for anybody else to win this. Because we can't move on from this match. Because this match is going to mean a lot to the company. But I want you to tell me why Christian should win this. I want you to tell me why Starks or Hobbs should win this. Or Keith Lee.
The only one I could make an argument for is Keith Lee. And that's because he's new to the company. Right? And you're trying to reestablish Keith Lee as a presence. But we know there's concerns about health, about who he is, and that. I think the writing's on the wall. We've seen it. This is Keith Lee's taking on Taz's faction going forward. Orange Cassidy is there to take bumps and to probably do his kick spot with Keith Lee. Christian Cage is there for the legend factor. There's only one real person that's winning this match, and it's Wardlow.
Yeah.
Because the writing is there.
Yeah. Yeah, because the writing is to the next match. Or two match. I don't know how you have it broken down, but it's to MJF. Go ahead.
Exactly. Well, I'm going off of AEW site, so how they have it listed, that's where we're going.
Okay.
So that's 2 matches away. Let's go to the women's title match. Who do you got? Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, or Thunder Rosa the Ponderosa? Who you got?
Noted this week, Thunder Rosa's coming to IWC later on in the year, so that's a big thing. That's really cool. So that makes me think, if she wins, is she going to carry this title to IWC with her and do kind of a little bit of a tour? That's what they do. You know, Britt can bring it back anytime she wants. Was noted, Thunder actually has a real, I want to say quad or some like of leg injury going into this. Do they worry about that and not let her go full bore and say, because if either one wins, I'll put it like this, my caveat, if either one wins, there's built-in stories that the other one can get a rematch at any point, and we're all in for it. And that wasn't supposed to be a pun, but we're all in for another great match between these two. It's a rubber match, essentially. If one wins, it's I lost my title, I want a rematch. So there's enough built in that it doesn't really matter. But on that note, I am going to take Rosa. I think Britt has done, I don't want to say everything she can, but sometimes it's good to have her chasing. But there's also other people that maybe aren't on the caliber to have it taken off of Britt. Rosa is on the caliber to have it taken off of Britt. And then you can go ahead and spin it to somebody else that you want to ride with for a couple months until Britt gets done having a legend feud or something like that. So, yeah, am I going to be salty when Britt loses it? Yes, because Britt's our girl, this, that, and the other thing, but Rosa's my girl as well. This is a dream match for me. They won match of the year last year across the board in anything, the unsanctioned match. So let it just be a wrestling match. Let's see what they can do. I'm excited for this.
Excuse me. Yeah, I am too. To me, the writing's on the wall. And you brought up an excellent point. Sometimes it's good to have Britt chasing it. Britt's got a lot of matches lined up here that don't necessarily need to be title matches. Hayter, Martinez. I think it's going to be Thunder Rosa winning this, getting the women's title. I'm not saying it's transition, but I think she's the champion until Jade takes it from her because there's a built-in backstory.
Yeah,
that point.
There is.
So I'm going Thunder Rosa here with the caveat Jade is the person to take it off of her at some point.
And we have either Hayter or Martinez. I at least have Hayter or Martinez lingering around, and I don't think cleanly. This match doesn't end cleanly for either. It's not just a Thunder Rosa powerbomb or whatever, and then she gets the win. Martinez is going to waylay Britt because we've seen that whole thing is broken up. Or Hayter says, fuck, I've been shit on so much by Britt that I think there's a turn in this whole scheme of things. The downfall is we forget about Rebel. Maybe Rebel's tired of Britt's shit, and she doesn't even want to work for the office anymore either.
That could be too. I'm thinking the progression's going to be, I think Martinez takes out Rebel and Hayter. It creates more friction in there. I think Thunder Rosa beats Britt cleanly in the ring because I think Martinez neutralizes that threat outside.
Well, then cleanly in the ring, yes. I'm not saying that one of them are going to get waylaid by the other, but just that distraction then.
No, agreed. Fair enough. Thank you for clarifying. Then my thought is from that, we get Britt, Mercedes. Mercedes somehow beats Britt, and that's where we see the split between Hayter and Britt because Britt's going to question Hayter's allegiance. Why didn't you help me? Or something happened during the match. Shawn versus Diesel thing that I keep bringing up here. I think Hayter's the second match after Mercedes. happens, because that's when that split happens. And you're right. Rebel's going to leave Britt's side at some point, and Britt's going to end up being all alone, which is going to make for great television to build her back up to be the champion, because she didn't need that outside parties to get the job done.
Yeah. And this could be 6 months to a year book. Like I said, I don't think Britt's around the title the rest of this year. Besides if they give her just a contracted rematch. Whatever. I don't care about that. But I'm saying after this little thing going on, Britt's not around this title picture the rest of the year. But she is relevant on TV every week, every other week.
Yeah, I think it leads up to being that second woman storyline.
Yeah.
Every week from here on out. Do I make the bold prediction Britt is the one that ends Jade Cargill's undefeated streak? No, but we'll go there when we get there. She could be.
She could be.
But we'll get there when we get there.
She may be.
Maybe.
First woman hold everything.
No, right?
I don't know.
I don't know.
2 belts for Rick.
The DMD, the dentist. All right. The big match, the blood match, the buckets, MJF, CM Punk, Dog Collar. I think it's me again. This one, it only makes sense to me if MJF wins. I think that this whole feud is putting MJF over. We have seen MJF somehow get onto another level over the course of this feud. And probably it's because of the personal relationship or the personal love that MJF had with Punk. I can't see past that. I gotta go MJF beating Punk in the Dog Collar match.
Agreed, and CM Punk could lose 5,000 consecutive matches, and it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
This does so much more for MJF than CM Punk. Now, don't get me wrong. At some point tonight, I'm going to text you and say, holy fuck, Punk is going to win this match. So remember, we're recording this right now, and it's being broadcasted whenever you guys are listening to it. I will send this text to Jenks, and I will mean it wholeheartedly. And I'm like, what are they doing? Why are they doing this to MJF? It will happen, because my mind will shut off and forget that I even said this. But MJF, this is the right. I think this is probably the easiest match of the night to pick. I really do. Besides Hook, yeah. But I really think it's the easiest match of the night to pick, because this is just solidifying him to be the next. And again, words that were said this week that, hey, I don't need that shitty TNT championship, and I am paraphrasing, and he doesn't anymore. It maybe a couple months ago, we would have thought, yeah, that was a nice little quick stepping stone to get to the championship. Nope. Throw it out the window. He should never sniff that for another 10 years.
Agreed. It'll be the one title that has escaped him level.
Yeah.
Right? The one you see like Ric Flair. He never got the Intercontinental title, so they threw him a bone and gave him that Intercontinental title run. It's going to be the title he's never captured, and he'll get it in 10 years. But you're absolutely right. This whole Punk feud has basically taken MJF to a level I don't think I foreseen going.
No.
But it has solidified him as the main event star that we knew he was, and that AEW knew he was.
And then we get him and Wardlow real quick, and then we get, we're at the main event. We get MJF and the winner of this. Exactly.
So let's go there. Hangman Adam Page, cowboy shit, Adam Cole, baby. Who you got for the AEW World Title?
I'm going to answer it quickly because I want to hear stories between both of us. Because I think we're almost on the same page, but we might be a little bit off, if you understand.
Yeah.
Hangman walks away with the title tonight. Does he get the win? Yeah, you'll call it a win. But I think he's decimated by several people at the end of the night. And then somebody else maybe trickle back around and say, I'm next. And I don't know if MJF and Punk are happening right before the main event. I know how they have it listed.
Yeah.
I don't know, because that's if you run it the way that we listed it, and I'm not knocking you or anything. You have Britt and Rosie, you have MJF and Punk,
There's
and
no break.
and yeah, that's an hour and a half of fucking death, fire, brimstone, and everything. I don't know. So there's got to be a little tweener in there, I think. But, and it also gives MJF that time, because he's going to come out and say, I'm next, da-da-da-da-da. So, yeah. I know you have a caveat on people coming out and causing things, but I also want to ask you this. Do we get a mega return tonight as well?
I don't know if it's tonight, but you're on the same path as I am with that comment. I don't think we see MJF sniffing this scenario. I agree with your concept of the way the card's set up, not accurate at all. I think I could probably list how they're going to do it, but I'm not going to right now. In my eyes, Paige wins this match because I think Red Dragon and the Young Bucks come out here, and this is where the dissension falls with this whole faction between Adam Cole, Red Dragon, and the Young Bucks. I do think Red Dragon is going to get involved, but I think events earlier in the night and the respect factor that there is for Paige still with the Young Bucks, I think the Young Bucks come out, take on Red Dragon, and this is where we see this implosion of the Elite, per se, and that's where Paige walks out with the title, because the Elite's imploding tonight.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Ugh.
So, long story, booking then is when the mega return. Everybody knows I'm talking about Kenny Omega, and you did too. Is he going to be the one that tries to get them all back together, or does he now have to decide he's going Red Dragon Adam Cole, or he's going Young Bucks Hangman Page?
I don't even know if he has to decide, because the comment and the events that have transpired, Adam Cole brought in Switchblade Jay White last month, earlier this month, whatever it was. We know the history between Omega and Switchblade.
Right.
The line is there. Bucks made reference to the line there. I think you see the Young Bucks I think Omega enters this picture with the Young Bucks in tow. I don't want to say save the Young Bucks, but he is their ace in the hole, and that's how he gets back into it. And we see that. We could see it very well being a 6-man tag at Double or Nothing.
8-man tag.
8-man tag if they include Switchblade. Who would you put in the other bucket? With
I would say
you add Paige to that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this turns out, because there's a possibility that Paige loses the title by then or something. You know how we had the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle doing random shit for 2 years? Well, they're both gone. Now we have two other factions. And I don't want to say this is going to be the Stadium Stampede match, essentially, but this could be something like that. Or maybe finally we get that blood and guts shit that we were talking about 2 years ago.
That would be the blood and guts match. Because no disrespect to Pinnacle Inner Circle match, but this has the history, and this would be brutal, violent warfare between the two teams.
I think we see them both tonight, honestly.
Okay.
I think, because Switchblade's not been in and around, I don't know what he's doing tonight. I'm actually not looking at spoilers or anything the rest of the day. Right. I don't know if he's at Impact or if he's, at Ponderosa. I don't know where he's at. Omega's been off long enough that if they both come out tonight, I think the line is drawn. The downfall is, I don't think the heavyweight champion needs to be in either faction. And that's the only reason why I wish it was going to be drawn quicker to get it off of Page. Now, I'm not upset that Adam Page has it. We've heard stories about how this title reign has been a bunch of horseshit. I've loved this title reign. Look at his matches. A couple of them were match of the year. He's possibly match of the year again this year. I just think the title needs to leave before we get to something like the War Games or Blood and Guts or a Stadium Stampede to let this burn like that.
Yeah, and let me go back on what I was saying here, not take it back, but elaborate. Yes, the Young Bucks come out to help Adam Page, but I think it's more in the aspect of the divide and the hate between them and Red Dragon. I don't think it's much of we're in Adam Page's corner. Now, to your point, I think we do get that Blood and Guts match, but I don't think it's happening until after Double or Nothing, or maybe in June, July time frame. Exactly, like Fyter Fest or whatever other pay-per-view or whatever special event they have in the summer. I think that's when we get this, because that would give enough time for Page to lose the title if they want to bring him in as that fourth member. I think Omega comes back before they make Page that fourth member to go forward with.
Okay. We're on the... It's in my head, I have to say it. We're on the same page. It's just how we're getting there.
Exactly.
You're reading top to bottom. I'm reading left to right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to happen. Jenks, I'm excited for it. I can't wait. We'll be together on the text with. Is Cody trying to watch it on Bleacher Report?
I believe so. Yes.
Good. He'll miss 4 or 5 matches and square at
4 or
us.
5 matches while we're watching all of them, because our Bleacher Report works.
I don't buy it on Bleacher Report. I buy it right off of the TV. I can't.
That's fair.
Yeah, I can't. No.
See, but Bleacher Report works for me, so I don't know what his issue was. I think it's his internet. Cody, if you're listening, it's your internet upgrade.
Yeah, real quick. Call today.
Call today, get it switched. But yeah. So I think that's where we're at.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. Again, it's an AEW pay-per-view day. I can't wait after my nap to dive into this. I don't know if I need a nap now. This alcoholic beverage has really helped me out. So now I just need something to eat.
Now you're hyped.
I am hyped.
Hyped and ready to go. Okay, Mojo Rawley.
Woo, woo, woo.
Woo, woo, woo.
You know it. All right, Jenks, we'll be back next week to clearly, guys, we're going to start with this, and then whatever happens afterwards, we'll probably just fill in. We'll spend a lot of time on Revolution next week. If you guys want to call in or leave us a message as well about what your thoughts are, it would be awesome. We'd like to play some of those as well. Maybe we dedicate the whole goddamn show to it, because I can't imagine WWE bringing much to the table this week. I can't.
No.
I can't.
Okay. Maybe a title change. Who knows?
Maybe. Remember, Jenks, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things.
The garbage can, not a garbage cannot.